In this video I will tell you a story about how I had pre-visualized a photo from atop a volcano crater in Iceland for about a year, and even though I got the perfect conditions, I still managed to screw it up. I think it's worth it. Incredible light. I'm literally on top of the world. So in this video we are going to a volcano crater called Eldborg crater, and it's supposed to be exceptionally beautiful. So as you can see, I'm still teamed up with Serena, and yeah, she didn't bring her camera gear, so I guess she's lazy. So yeah, the hike out there is like 2.5 kilometers, and it's like flat terrain, but the trail itself will be through like a lava field, so you have to like look down and watch your step for the most part. What I expect from this place is that it's mainly a drone location, so I will fly the drone, have the crater as the main object in the foreground, and see if I can find some kind of background where it makes sense. The light is fairly flat right now. I just hope that it will be a little bit better towards sunset. We never know, you have to be in it to win it. But right now it looks a bit meh, not so much. But yeah, let's see to it, and let's see how this 2.5 kilometers hike will turn out. Eldborg is located about 1.5 hour drive from Reykjavik towards Snæfellsnes. You can park your car at Snorrastaðir Farm Holidays. To find the trail towards the crater, just cross the small wooden bridge and enter the gate. The trail is easy to follow, but it can be muddy on wet days, however nothing some proper hiking boots can't handle. Arriving at the crater, there is a small path up to the rim. It does require a small climb, but most people should be able to do it.
What was that? Holy shit.
Okay.
Was that just rock?
That was rock, yes. So we made it to the top of the crater, and as I usually say, you don't go to the top of the Eiffel Tower to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower. So there's actually not really much to do up here than to wait for sunset. And as you can see here in the background, we have the sun. Maybe we will get some colors, maybe not. There's like 2.5 hours to golden hour, so we are way ahead of time here. And yeah, just have to try and kill time, which is a bit hard since there's literally nothing to do up here. So yeah, I've already been flying the drone, getting the B-roll, so just gotta wait for the sun to go a bit further down, colors to change, and to take the picture. We spent around 3 hours on top of the crater while the light just got better and better. That, however, wasn't given as the clouds were hard to predict. You have to take the speed, height and direction of the clouds into account, which in itself is hard to guess, but it did look as if the horizon would get covered before sunset, and that's usually not what you want. To make sure I at least got something from the location, I had my drone up several times while I had some light. I kept having in mind I needed battery for the sunset in case something would happen. I had already used one battery at another location and one battery for the video, but one battery ought to be enough to get the photo. Around sunset I was running low on battery and I had only one try left. I had got some decent photos throughout the day and it didn't look as if the sunset would manifest into anything special. The wind had also increased in the waiting time and I honestly wasn't optimistic about anything. I was debating with myself whether or not to stay on the rim or actually go down from the crater in case I needed to get the drone up fast and then get it down again and then maybe one more time up. So I had a few more tries, but I opted for staying on top of the rim simply because I was lazy and I was pessimistic about the sunset. Big mistake. We did get a little bit of color, so I did fly the drone in the strong wind, and actually to get the drone back up on the rim I had to fly it behind the crater as to shelter it from the wind and then fly the drone up there and catch the drone as soon as it came above the rim. I did do that and it wasn't really a problem at all. When the drone returned I had only 10% battery left, so I knew that was probably it. I wouldn't be able to fly it again. While waiting for the time lapse to end and I was packing my stuff up, I looked up and suddenly a bit more color started to appear. That came as a big surprise to me because I had already thought I got the colors which the afterglow had to offer. I decided to unpack the drone and fly it and just give hell to it. I could always just land the drone underneath or beneath the crater. I flew the drone out. I found my composition battling the strong wind, which by now was so strong I couldn't fly the drone against it, but I did manage to get one shot with a bit of pink above the background mountains. Suddenly, on the opposite side of the sunset, the clouds just started lighting up in the most beautiful pink colors. And since I couldn't keep the drone in the same composition as I already had, it was drifting a little bit out and I couldn't fly it back because of the wind, I decided to just fly to the other side of the crater and get that composition. It wasn't a composition that was super interesting. I get the crater in front and then the beautiful clouds in the background, but it was better than nothing. And by this time the battery had already decreased to 5% or something like that, so I just hammered off. I got this okay composition, okay shot, and while doing that and having the wind howling around me, trying to steer the drone correctly, getting the composition, having the controller just beeping at me, coming up with warning signals after warning signals, too strong winds, and the battery is going low, and a little bit of panic, happens. So I was just okay, I got the shot, and I just had to get it down. But that time the battery was at 2%, so it's just down, no matter what, so it didn't fall from the sky. So I landed it in some bushes. I wasn't able to get it back to the crater, so I was just not sure if I still had a drone. So using the feature on the app to find my drone with the GPS coordinates, I just ran down from the crater and out into the bushes and just battling and through the bushes and being a little bit in panic whether or not I still had my drone and if it could fly again. Yeah, this happened above my head. This photo and this video were my primary goals of staying in Iceland for a few extra days after I had just run a 14 days workshop. 1 year of imagining these rare conditions having to time it perfectly with which day we actually went to Eldborg, and yeah, having to be in Iceland. And I managed to time it perfectly, and then I still don't get the shot. I retrieved the drone as it was exactly where the app said it was, and it could fly and no harm done. But I was just so angry with myself. Had I just gone down from the crater instead of being lazy and pessimistic, we all know you never know if something is going to happen. And yeah, then I would have been able to take the drone down, wait for it, fly it back up again, and actually get the shot when the afterburn were at its best. When I returned home, I of course looked through my photos from that day, and there were 4 that stood out, which I think is pretty decent. But you know, when you have something imagined and you don't get what you have imagined, whatever you got else is not exactly up to that standard. So here, half a year after, I do think that these 4 photos are pretty decent, and of course they deserve to be presented. So I do think I have a favorite of these photos, but I'm curious to hear which one you like the most. So write down in the comments, and as always I would also highly appreciate a like. Also a huge thank you to all of you who have bought my Icelandic or Faroe Islands location maps on my maps. It means a lot that I can have some products which I can sell. It makes quite a big difference to my economy. So thank you very much. If you haven't got your map yet, there is a link in the end of this video or down in the description. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, or at least I passed on some experience that you can use with this story. Don't be lazy, and if there is a chance that you can optimize the chance of you getting your shot, jump on it. Don't be lazy.